So hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. This is actually a video I get, pardon me, a question I get asked quite often. So I just wanted to kind of make a quick little video on it. And if I get asked this again, which I'm sure I will, I'll just link people to this video. So it's kind of killing two birds with one stone, I think, anyways. But yeah, so my whole thing is with like dropping out of Unity specifically was, well, I guess my original intent when going to university was to move abroad because for those who don't know, I'm originally from the US, but really just wanted to kind of get out of the US in general and wanted to, yeah, just travel and really just live in another country. That's something I've always really found to be interesting. Always intrigued me, to say the least. And when doing a lot of research and like investigation online for like I've done a lot, like I mean hundreds of hours online researching this shit. So, and I came across like a common denominator within this, which was a degree. Like a lot of things always, like programs and jobs and everything, they always mention you have to have a degree, specifically a bachelor's degree. Like it doesn't matter, it can be in fucking anthropology or some shit. It really doesn't matter. Like you just have to have some sort of bachelor's degree or up to qualify for like immigration policies and all this other wacky shit. Of course, there's ways to get around that, but I'll leave that for another time. Anyways, so I saw that, and at the time I was thinking maybe like opting for like community college or some shit, because I don't know where you're from. As I mentioned, I'm originally from the U.S. and U.S. university is fucking expensive. That shit is whack. Universities, or at least from where I'm from, are in my hometown, are like around 50,000 on average per year, and that doesn't include like housing or anything. Or I mean, hopefully you can live with your parents, but that's it's pretty fucking wild. And like really come to think about it, like that must be pretty good business for the higher ups, like you basically just get to, I don't know, extort children essentially out of like tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars and put them into debt for the rest of their life. I mean, it sounds like pretty good business to me, but, anyways, so I saw that with all that, I don't know, me being said, I ended up going, kind of doing a lot of research, and because obviously I didn't want to spend a lot of fucking money on university. So I ended up coming across online university, which I'm sure some of you know it, called University of the People. It's a online, as I mentioned, online university, but it has no tuition fees. It's only like a semester fee, which is like basically not really much. I think it's like $100 per course or something. I mean, it's astronomically cheaper than actual like fucking university, like a fractions of the cost. So also, if I look down, I'm also just reading my notes because I want to, let my ADHD kind of take the rest of this video off course. So yeah, so at the time it was around late 2019, like turning 2020, so around like pandemic-ish levels, around that time. And I was working full time, and it actually just kind of became a pretty good coincidence that the pandemic happened, so I could just kind of switch from like full-time job to go to full-time like school online. And my parents were I was living at home at the time, and my parents were pretty, obviously very supportive of it, because pandemic and everything, and they didn't they actually have like health complications, so I didn't want to bring like that shit home and perhaps, God forbid, kill them. And so they were very supportive of it, and they didn't see a problem with it. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So made the switch, dropped my full-time job and just, did full-time online. Did that for about 2 years, ended up moving to Vancouver, Canada. And I dropped, I guess full-time status in university to part-time because I ended up working in a job in, Canada. Shout out to all the homies at fucking Cypress Mountain in Vancouver. It's a shitty ass job. Oh, fuck me. But yeah, so I actually ended up meeting one of my good friends up there, and a couple months down the road, long story short, he ended up getting into a business relationship with like one of the locals in like the metropolitan Vancouver area for like some crypto business, and he ended up bringing me onto it as well because he saw like potential in me. And yeah, basically to make a long story short, at least I mean we all did, but I was making like well over like $200 a day, Canadian. I don't know what that is in USD. I'll throw it up on the screen, but that was the most money I've ever personally ever made in my life. And we were like managing software and shit, and it really started to kind of taint my mindset for like university and school and the like traditional route of like just getting the degree, going to getting like a regular like corporate office job or some shit. And yeah, at the time, actually two of my roommates were software engineers. So one of them worked at Microsoft, and the other one worked at Amazon, like more with the deal with like the AWS domain. And both of them were getting worked like a dog. And I remember because they would tell me like the one at Microsoft specifically, he was like on three different projects, and he was working of course on the clock and off the clock. He was even working on the weekends sometimes as well. Um, I mean, it was like I think he remember he mentioned to me he was making I think like 160 a year. I mean, it's obviously it's good money, but like to be working like basically 7 days a week. I mean, it's, that I took that into consideration as well. Um, and the other one from Amazon, he was the same thing, pretty much. Has a lot going on. Pretty much getting worked a lot, on and off the clock. And he mentioned this one story that kind of really intrigued me. That one of his friends, he was pretty much like similar to me. He was studying hard. I mean, he was probably studying harder than I was, really. But he wanted to get a job at Google, so he did like all the leak code shit and all like the interview questions and like review and all that shit for years, right? Got the degree, worked really hard for years and years to get this. And he ended up getting the job at Google as a software engineer, and he just didn't like it. He just realized like it just wasn't really for him. And I remember when my roommate told me that, like, I just thought to myself, like, that'd just be such a shitty situation to be in. I mean, hey, listen, kudos to the guy, because he pulled off something like most people probably, I honestly believe most people couldn't do, myself included. I don't know if I could, even do that, to be honest with you. But I just feel like, yeah, that'd be such like a really shitty situation to be in. And that really just tainted my whole mindset of like just getting a degree and getting a corporate job. But predominantly, the main, like, I feel like the main nail in the coffin for me was the fact that like you can do all this, but like the pay just really you're just capped at a certain level. Like you can't earn more than obviously what the job the company is willing to pay you. And since I was in Vancouver, I was surrounded by like basically millionaires a lot of the time. Really, I mean, there's lots of rich people in Vancouver. I mean, you just go there. People driving in nice cars and shit. And remember working for my landlord at the time. He lived in a penthouse, and he was talking to me about like his businesses and everything and what he does. And his penthouse was like $7 million, and it was nice as fuck. I remember working actually with him in it for a couple projects, and I was like, it's crazy. Like when you think about it, like even if I were to get like a job, say working at a Facebook or something, right, making like $500,000 a year, even if I didn't like, okay, just hypothetically, right? Let's say I didn't pay taxes, I didn't, I spent no money for food, I lived for free, I got transportation for free, all this, right? This is just hypothetical, and I'm making $500,000 a year. It would take me 14 years to afford that penthouse. And before anyone says it, no, I'm not just in it for the materialistic things, but I think about it from a sense, or from like a standpoint of, it's also for not just myself, but also my family, my parents, my future wife, my kids, like I don't want to just kind of be just struggling, or like want them to kind of, just go without like I did for a lot, for, some periods in my childhood as well. I want them definitely to, have things that I didn't have, have them have a better life, I guess, if that's the correct English. So that, and also just, support for my parents, because they've obviously done a lot for me, and I just wish to, repay repay the favor. I think that's fair. I don't want to be one of those children who just, asks for money and keeps like taking, hey, I don't have money for rent or for food, or, can I borrow, I don't know, X amount of money? Like, I just, I don't want to be like that fucking dude, or like, that kid who just asks for shit. I mean, unless I absolutely need it, of course. I mean, if I absolutely need it, unfortunately I will ask, but like, I try not to. I've never asked, actually. I just try to make shit work because I just think it's unfair. But yeah, it's just me, right? This is just my perspective. This is my perspective. That's a little, I don't know, side note, little side tangent. But you know, with all that taking into consideration, I got of course, business and stuff. I see people obviously making lots of money with business. Well, I mean, I've seen it firsthand. Um, the money aspect of it as well. I didn't really want to get a corporate job, just working, like for basically, shit, like I can't even fucking live, like, well, on like on like certain salaries and shit. I guess you can, but some of my friends in Vancouver are software engineers, at like less reputable company, just like smaller companies, and they can't even live in Vancouver. Like they're making like $60,000-$70,000 a year, and they still can't even live in Vancouver. So it's like, and of course you could just say, oh, just move, but location, time to the job, and it's not online. So that's also something to think about. And that's something I didn't want to be tied to. Like I didn't just want to be tied down and stuck in like a physical location. I just wanted to have like location freedom, and that's pretty much what I got now. Basically, that's pretty much what I have now. My final, I guess, kind of note on that really is, the business that like my friend and I we were doing with crypto. Of course, ended up collapsing like some months later, but it really taught me a lot. And it taught me that I don't want to do the whole like traditional get a degree and get like I just getting just shitty ass office job and shit. And just wanted to do something more with my life. Wanted to kind of live life on my own terms, even if I were to struggle at times. I feel like that's worth it for me. And so that's pretty much my ultimate thing. That was like the ultimatum. I dropped out of university. My parents were relatively fine with it. They really didn't care. I guess I have really supportive parents, so I'm very thankful for that. As I know some people aren't so lucky with that. But yeah, a couple months later, ended up getting into more like freelancing, doing more things with that, with software engineering, just web development, things like that, just IT. And found an opportunity to live in Japan, actually, and just pretty much been traveling ever since. After that, I went to like Taiwan, Malaysia. I'm now here in Vietnam. And, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. So this is just kind of my story. Of course, I will elaborate more on this in like other videos. I also have another channel coming up as well, talking about like traveling and more tips, not just really telling you guys like, oh, how to travel and how I did things, but also showing you guys. That's also, I feel like, much more beneficial than just, spoken words. So actually demonstrate what I do, how I do it, and, all that jazz. So yeah, that's basically it for the video. I just want to make this kind of, short, simple, nothing too crazy. Yeah, I mean, as always, if you have any questions or anything, just let me know, hit me up. I know some people have actually, and I'm glad. I love to answer you guys' questions. So seriously, hit me up on. I'm gonna leave my Discord, my Twitter, and my Instagram all linked in the bio. So you got something, so let me know. Shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you. Until then, you'll stay safe out there, and peace out.